Thanks again, Luke, for hopping on, man, to Untapped Stories. I'm super excited to talk to you today. I know we've gone back and forth via email, and you've been on our platform for a little while as a football coach. So, with your background, maybe letting parents and athletes know why I like to start these conversations for the guests and people who are listening. Maybe if they don't know you or haven't come across your profile before, if you could take everyone back, maybe to your early days as an athlete. What were sports like for you? What was, I guess, like, were you a multi-sport athlete, and kind of how did those early days of playing shape the person and coach you became?
My first memory is literally being in Raymond James Stadium, the Buck Stadium, like being 2 or 3 years old, and having my mom and my dad like hand in hand going down the stairs to our seats because we had phenomenal seats. But I remember the memory specifically because the Jets went over and it made me start crying, and I remember it. But so that started my extreme fandom for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I did play all sports growing up. I played. I really didn't pick up football until like legit flag until like I was like 11.
Oh wow.
But I like growing up, I played baseball and soccer first, and then I got into basketball, and then I played those three year round until just going into like my eighth grade year, and then that's when I finally put on pads, fell in love with football, and then I did play high school basketball for my freshman and sophomore year, but I ended up switching to football full time my junior and senior year,
Jeez.
and yeah, no that. But I will say, for me as a coach, I think one of the things that works out great for me because I have the same perspective these kids had. Like I was a bigger kid, but I was not a good athlete, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But my mom found two different like private coaches for me like back in the day when there was really no
Word
platforms,
of
and
mouth.
they ended up being like old like D1 college coaches that were football like high level coaches,
Okay.
and they ended up teaching me everything like as far as just like how to throw correctly, engage with your hands not your body, like just doing that. And I did that for like 3 or 4 years, and then I did it into high school. No, I did it. I always like once I got my private coaches, I had them until I went off to college. But doing like those little private 1 hour sessions when I was like 12.
Jeez. I mean, I
Yeah.
I love those stories because we've talked to probably the best example I can think of, Kathleen Baker, who was a gold medal Olympist. She said that when she was 12 or 13, she was a really good swimmer, but her parents found her a one-on-one coach that had coached other Olympians. And then by the time she was 16, so after 3 years of training with him, her times were on par with actual Olympians. But I think that just goes to show you're an example, I'm an example, she's an example of if you can find the right coach and mentor at the right age, it can take kids from a good career and like a good path to an awesome career and an awesome path. But you got to find that person, and it's we're trying to make that possible through our platform for parents and athletes, Luke. Because I'm a dad of two boys. I played football growing up. I'd have no problem with them playing. Maybe for people who are hesitant to put their kids into tackle football now, you are so involved with the game. Obviously, what would your take be on like the elementary, middle school, kind of leading into high school football days? Is it as crazy as parents make it seem now, or is it as long as you're got the right equipment, you got the right form, you should be okay?
I'm very big on waiting to put kids into pads. I think the whole development of like how flag is now, like the whole flag football scene, I think is huge for like the younger kids. Like definitely in like elementary, middle school, but I think like getting into pads like somewhere in middle school is probably kind of key. I'm not a big fan of having them at really young ages because they need to, their bodies need to develop, I think, and like their core skills need to develop a little bit more before they actually put the pads on. Because personally, for me, like going into pads is it's a whole different
Yeah,
game, like compared to just throwing the football around. So it's like it needs different like preparation in a sense.
makes sense. When you work with athletes who are in middle school or high school, what are some of the early things that you're teaching them at this point? Like, is footwork the key for most football players? Is it strength? Is it speed? What are most people coming to you for?
I'm very position based. Very position based. Different positions have different things. Like I have a linebacker versus a receiver. I'm teaching them different things. But like with the younger kids, like for example, quarterbacks and receivers were going after like more strength training in the beginning and mixed with like footwork. Like I have a weighted football, so
Okay.
they're going to be working with a weighted football, throwing a weighted football, doing drills like that, and then we switch more into footwork. But I also like try to mix in, like what their game plan is, like when they're in flag football, like certain things, like how do you deal with the four down situation? Like, do you want to take a shot deep? You think you like a matchup? Let's do it in the early downs versus like nickel and diamond and just finding like what we have open in certain
Hmm.
things. But like I think development is huge, and then like with like the linebacker, it's more of like instinctual process and like lateral movement and that type of thing. But it's like a step by step type thing. That's how I coach.
I like that though. Breaking it down for each individual. I mean, you can't make a, kind of like a white trail plan for every single athlete. You got to customize it based on what they need. And football is one of those particular sports, obviously, too, where it's not like like a tennis or a volleyball where you're working mostly with the same skills or the same groups. It's so position based. But maybe for the athletes that you have seen, what's one really cool story you can share in terms of a breakthrough? So started working with an athlete and they were at this level and they got to this level, which meant they might have, made the high school team or became a starter or they had like a really profound growth story. What's a cool story you can share that could just kind of highlight how awesome coaching can be?
Well, so I mentioned I have a linebacker who's a freshman right now. Well, he's going into his sophomore year, and he went from being on JV to he's going to be a starter this year, which
Nice.
very, very proud about. And I'm sure he's going to get to play in college at some point. He's a bigger kid. He's quicker. He's smarter. Like doesn't mind hitting. All the right things. But he's definitely a good example of his high school was not the best, and he picked up the game later.
Okay.
Like I don't think he never played flag football or anything like that. Like he got into football, I want to say his eighth grade year.
Oh wow.
So his he's only been playing like 2 or 3 years, and he's really transitioning. He's a great example. And then I have to talk about this the other girl I have. She wants to be in the Olympic flag game because that's now a huge thing, and she's a quarterback.
Oh wow.
And she's funny because she's not bad, and she's decently sized, and she's like, I want to play with the boys, like that whole situation. And I told her, you never say never. I was like, everything has to be on par and like all that situation. But she's really set on like the Olympic game, and she's I think 2 years in, and this last flag season I think she played. It was like I'd have to pull up the stats, but it was something ridiculous. Like she only threw one interception. She threw it was like 30 touchdowns in 10 games or something like that.
Dang.
Yeah, yeah, and she ran in like another five or six. Like, yeah, no, she's legit. She's legit.
Do you see a lot of female athletes coming to you for flag football training? I know flag football is exploding across the country, but I've predominantly thought, I don't know much about flag football. I thought it was more on the male or the boys side, but is it picking up on the female side too?
In the last year, yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
For sure. I was up at the high school training the boys like the one I used to go to, and I actually was approached by like two of the high school girls there that were serious about it, and I was like, because it just now became, I don't know if it's in Florida specifically or where, but like flag football at the high school level for girls is now a legit thing. So it's like they travel and play different high schools. So I mean, you know what I mean?
That's
And I
awesome.
guess there's the whole Olympic scene, and then I think the possibility of later a like college, like a collegiate flag football type deal. So we'll see.
Hey, if they love it and there's resources behind it, good for everyone involved, man. What about for some of the athletes you're training? Things don't go their way. So it could be after a bad game, or it could be they didn't get a scholarship they wanted, or it could just be like, as simple as you're teaching them something in a lesson and they don't pick it up quickly and they get frustrated. How do you help young kids stay on track and stay focused when things don't go their way?
Definitely, I think. Well, with kids, I think like first and foremost, I think the way you talk to kids is very important. Like the way you communicate with them is very important. But just having them understand like the perspective of a mistake or a loss is literally an opportunity to learn. Like in the literal sense of, okay, you're not getting something, so there's something here that like I need to learn from, or that I have the ability or the possibility to learn from. So if football is a very obvious sport, like especially in game, like if you make a mistake, and especially like the play is to your side or something like that, it usually it'll stick out to you. But if it's like something where it's like we're doing footwork a certain way, like let's say I have a really younger kid or somebody who is brand new to the sport, for example, and like we're just working on the basics to footwork and like stuff like that, where like we're going through the ladder with like maybe like weights or something like that, and they're not understanding like maybe the rhythm of the pattern, and just understanding that like slowing down and getting it is important, like actually understanding how the technique is important versus like the actual speed of the drill.
Especially for that age, man. I think that can't be overstated enough. Like you're sometimes I think coaches or maybe parents, whoever, they forget that we're dealing usually with someone who's between I don't know 6 to 15 or 16 years old. Like as an adult, you're like, yeah, you should be able to get it in a heartbeat and kind of pick up and master that. But taking a couple of steps back, making sure they understand why they're doing things and how to do them can help the kids way more than just throwing the next five drills at them and forgetting about what you were trying to teach, which can be frustrating as a coach because I've been there as a basketball coach. It's like you want to have them progress and have do more in the lesson, but like sometimes master the easy thing and then a couple lessons later they can actually do the hard thing instead of drowning the entire time. But
Yeah, for sure.
looking back at your own career, what's one thing having, been through a lot playing and now a lot coaching, what's one thing you wish you would have known when you were starting out in that, eighth grade freshman year season that you've learned along the way that you think would have helped you?
Football is definitely super adversity based. Definitely learning how to deal with adversity is huge, but I think the bigger lesson is just learning how to stay like consistent
Hmm.
and like understanding what consistency is for a long period of time, and like being able to understand like how that helps you. And like I mean definitely and obviously for high school, like grades are so important. They're so important. So like actually being in school and studying and just being, cognizant while in school is so important.
We've talked so much about training, nutrition, if and even the mental side of the game for all of our sports. If you don't have the grades, if you're trying to play in college, none of the other stuff really matters. I mean, unless you are truly one of one and you can maybe get
Yeah.
to like the SECs of the world and you're on a full ride. Maybe it's a different story if your grades aren't a 4.0. But for the majority of kids who
Yeah.
are trying to play normal D1, D2, D3 football, or even higher, I mean, it cannot hurt to have good grades. So I think that should be we always talk about a three-pronged approach to training. We see the skills, the nutrition, well, I guess four, the mental and the physical, but a fifth should be the grades because if you don't have the academics as a part of it, the other couple really don't make a difference.
Yeah, they're not going to take you seriously.
Exactly. And it can only the way that I see it too, it can only be a positive, right? Like that's what you would tell a kid. There's having good grades, taking it seriously, in no way is going to harm you. Yeah, maybe you miss a couple of Friday nights with your friends or Sunday, like but
Yeah,
that's fine. You'll forget about those. Just get the good grades so you can have that as ammo when you go to it. Because no matter if you're again going to an SEC school, it's the best football program in the country, or if you're trying to play D3, coaches will only see it as a good thing if you have good grades. It makes the conversation way easier for you and your family to actually get on a college roster.
for sure.
The last thing I got, Luke. So again, you've been one of our best football coaches. We love having you on the AU platform. Just in general, when you work with athletes every day, maybe again for parents and athletes who haven't done a one-on-one session before, they kind of like the idea, but they don't really know what they're getting into. What has coaching meant to you? And I guess like when you're working with the kids and the athletes that are part of your program, how are they during the sessions? What are the sessions like for them? Is it like the best time of the week? Maybe just give people an idea of what it would be like to to train with you.
It's honestly it's been awesome. What like athletes Untapped has been able to like help me create, like as far as like a platform for like one-on-one training has been phenomenal. Like I can't overstate the amount of conversations I've had where the parents are like, thank you. Our kids, are improving, at home, and their like confidence is better in school, and like I just get like thank yous like that, and that means the world to me. Like, and that's not something I ever thought. I didn't think about that like getting into coaching, but it's definitely awesome. But getting a coach for the first time, I don't want to be like it's a commitment, because it is and it isn't, but it's like a commitment to yourself. Like you want to be better, right? So I'm gonna help you get better. Like I'm gonna teach you how to get better, like on your own and with me. Like I'm a source for betterment. Like I having role models in your life as a kid that are sources for betterment and that are just there to help you get better in life are phenomenal, especially when it comes to sports and people actually know what they're talking about. It's huge. It just you'll leapfrog the kid who just goes through high school. The outside help. That's why you'll always see the greats. Like Kobe is a shining example. He every single day. He's like, I'm just gonna. You're not going to be better than me because I'm going to train every single
Yep.
day. Like that approach is legitimate. You don't have to do that every single day, but somewhere close, you'll be
Yeah.
pretty good. You know what I mean? Like early on is important because I feel like understanding the pattern of consistency for like okay, this is my day to get better every single week. This is my day to get better. I think that's very important for kids.
I love that answer, man. I think everything you sounds like you are, a perfect example of that. And everything we try to get out there to parents and athletes is that no matter if you're on the middle school team trying to play in high school to college, whatever it is, at some point the playing days are going to stop. But the confidence, the skills, the discipline, all the hard work that you learn from doing sessions with a great coach, that stuff stays with you forever. And that's what you can't put a price tag on that for a young kid when it comes to helping them like understand who they are, building up confidence in themselves, and wanting to get better because that'll translate to school, to work, to friends, to like your married life. Like it builds such a good foundation. So because I think a lot of people come to us, I'm not sure about you as a coach, but they think private coaching will help me get a scholarship and play better. All that stuff, it's a potential result. You don't know if you're going to get a scholarship. No one ever guarantees that stuff, and it should help you play better. But again, you will still have bad games. But it's like the other side of it, what you can do when you have a bad game, what you can do when things don't go your way, how to stay consistent. That again, everybody can use in life. So I just love that stuff.
For sure, it's definitely a learned thing too. It's like something you have to experience. You know what I mean? You have to literally experience the ups and downs, and then getting better throughout it.
I think one thing too before we hop in that I loved and I saw all the time with kids, you really can put a spotlight on them in the way that maybe coaches in high school and college will do, but it not that it makes them feel uncomfortable, but it's like you have to perform during the session, you know what I mean? Because sometimes during a practice with like football 20, well maybe 40, 50 kids, you can kind of hide, stay in the back. Basketball 12 kids,
Yep.
like you're doing a drill and maybe half energy because the other kids are in a one-on-one. If you're faking it, like you clearly you're getting called out. Like it's, there's no way to
Yep.
hide. So I think it brings out the best in kids in that light too, where it's just all the attention's on you, and it can be nerve wracking. Once you get past that, though, you'll really start to improve.
100%. 100%. That's 100% right. Especially like the whole thing is like okay, if we make a mistake or we're not doing something, we're gonna break it down and understand it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then we're gonna do it the right way.
Yeah, that's you don't get that time, and I think a lot of parents they think that the one-on-one stuff is like, well, I have a my son's on two teams. Like, do I really need it? It's like I'm sure those two teams are great. You have a lot of good teammates, good coaches, but you're not getting that individual attention, which just goes so much farther. You don't need it. I mean, every single day, but once, twice a week, and you get the homework from your coach afterwards. It's just that stuff goes on for miles. So yeah, Luke, this was super fun, man. Again, you've been crushing it on the platform. We love having you. Cannot wait to help you find more kids this year for training, especially as we get busier and busier throughout the spring and summer. So appreciate you making time. And again, can't wait to share your message, man.
For sure, man. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate the opportunity.